far beneath the surface of our everyday world, beyond the noise of cities, beyond human history, and even beyond the reach of most sunlight, there exists another kind of life. A life that does not rush. A life that does not age the way we understand it. A life that can stretch across centuries, even millennia. And if you listen closely to the story of Earth itself, you begin to realize something astonishing. Some of the longest living creatures on this planet were already alive before most of human civilization even began to write its history. This is not just a story about animals. This is a story about time and those who quietly escape it. We begin in the coldest waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans, a place where the temperature stays near freezing, where darkness dominates most of the year, and where life moves so slowly it almost feels frozen. In this silent world swims one of the longest living vertebrates ever discovered, the Greenland shark. At first glance, it does not look extraordinary. No bright colors, no fast movements, no dramatic hunting style like the sharks we see in documentaries. Instead, it moves with a slow, heavy grace, almost as if the ocean itself is dragging time behind it. Scientists estimate that Greenland sharks can live for over 250 years. Some individuals may even reach 400 years. Think about that for a moment. A single shark swimming in the ocean today may have been alive when the United States did not yet exist, when electricity was not discovered, when modern industry was still unimaginable. It is not just living, it is witnessing centuries pass in silence. But the Greenland shark is only the beginning. We go deeper now, not just into the ocean, but into stillness itself. Hidden in the cold seabed of the North Atlantic lies a creature that looks almost unremarkable. A clam. Ocean quahog. It does not move fast. It does not hunt. It does not fight. It simply exists, buried in sediment, opening and closing its shell slowly as water passes through it. But inside this simple creature lies a shocking truth. In 2006, scientists discovered an individual ocean quahog estimated to be 507 years old. 507 years. That means this single animal was alive before Shakespeare wrote his plays, before many modern nations even existed, and yet it spent its entire life doing something deceptively simple, breathing the ocean, one slow filtration at a time. No ambition, no urgency, just survival stretched across half a millennium. But perhaps the most fascinating form of long life is not measured in years at all. It is measured in cycles. Now we enter the world of something almost unreal. A tiny, transparent creature drifting through the ocean like a fragment of glass. Turritopsis dohrnii, better known as the immortal jellyfish. Unlike almost every other animal on Earth, this jellyfish has a unique ability. When it faces stress, injury, or aging, it can reverse its biological clock. It transforms back into its juvenile stage. Essentially, it resets its life cycle. Adult becomes young. Young becomes adult. Again and again. In theory, it can repeat this process indefinitely. Not truly immortal in the sense of invincibility, of course. It can still be eaten, it can still die from disease or environmental change. But biologically, it does something extraordinary. It avoids aging as a final destination. It turns life into a loop instead of a line. And that idea alone forces us to question something fundamental. Is aging a rule of life, or just one of its possible paths? We return now to land, to something far more familiar, yet no less extraordinary: trees. Some trees are living records of time itself. In the high mountains of North America grows the bristlecone pine, one of the oldest known individual living organisms on Earth. Some of these trees are estimated to be more than 4,800 years old. That means they were already growing when ancient civilizations were just beginning to rise, when pyramids were still under construction, when human history itself was still young. And yet, the tree remains, year after year, century after century, growing so slowly that time seems almost irrelevant to it. Each ring inside its trunk is not just growth, it is memory, a physical archive of weather, climate, and survival. But trees are not the only ancient living systems. There is something even larger, something that challenges the idea of individuality itself. In the United States exists a massive organism known as pando. At first glance, it looks like a forest of separate trees, but in reality, it is one single organism. All the trees are connected by a shared root system, a living network, a single identity spread across the land. Scientists believe pando may be tens of thousands of years old, possibly surviving ice ages, climate shifts, and entire eras of human development. And still, it continues. Now a pattern begins to emerge. The longer a living thing can exist, the slower it tends to live. Slow metabolism, slow growth, slow energy use, almost as if nature rewards patience with time itself. But there is more. We go back to the deep ocean again, even deeper this time, where light cannot reach, where pressure is crushing, and where silence is absolute. Here live certain species of deep-sea sponges that may be thousands of years old. They do not have brains. They do not have complex organs like ours. Yet they persist in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, filtering water, absorbing nutrients, remaining almost completely still. And still, they endure. For longer than most human civilizations have existed. At this point, a question naturally arises. Why don't humans live like this? Why don't we live for centuries or millennia like some of these creatures? The answer is not simple, and it is not about strength. It is about strategy. Long-lived organisms tend to live slowly. They grow slowly. They reproduce slowly. And they depend on extremely stable environments. Humans, on the other hand, are built for change. We survive not by permanence, but by adaptation. Not by living centuries alone, but by passing knowledge across generations. Still, when we look at a shark that may have lived through 300 years of history, a clam that has silently survived half a millennium, a jellyfish that can reset its own life, a tree that predates ancient empires, and a sponge that may have witnessed thousands of years pass in silence, it becomes difficult not to feel a sense of awe. Because suddenly, time does not feel like something we fully understand. It feels like something vast, something layered, something that flows differently depending on the life that experiences it. And perhaps that is the real lesson hidden in these ancient lives. Not just longevity, but perspective. While human lives are measured in decades, these creatures exist in centuries, in millennia, in cycles that stretch beyond history itself. And somewhere, deep in the cold ocean or ancient forests, they continue living as they always have, slowly, quietly, patiently, as if time itself is not something to race against, but something to simply pass through. And long after human civilizations rise and fall, they will still be here, continuing their silent existence, carrying time within them, one slow moment at a time.